I travelled 7 months to find out if you can grow potatoes on Mars. That's right, welcome to Extreme Gardening, where I've travelled all the way to Mars to find out if you can grow potatoes. And if you're enjoying these episodes, then please make sure you subscribe right now. Back in 2015, a great man went all the way to Mars to find out if you can grow potatoes. The name of that man? Matt Damon. That's right, the actor Matt Damon went all the way to... What? You don't think it was real? Let's have a little Google it on. Oh, I thought it was a documentary. Ridley Scott's film adaptation of the novel The Martian has astronaut and botanist Mark Watney finding himself stranded on Mars, fighting to survive without much more than his brain. One of the keys to Watney's survival is 12 fresh potatoes sent with the astronauts to Mars for a Thanksgiving meal during their trip. He uses those 12 potatoes to grow more potatoes, which when combined with vitamin pills and rations keeps them alive for a year and a half. But the question is, can you really grow potatoes on Mars? And this seems like an important question, right? Because once we all leave this planet, because we're not doing a very good job at looking after this one, so we might as well move back to Mars. But when we do move to Mars, the question is, will we be able to grow food on it? And specifically for this video, potatoes. And the reason I ask about potatoes right now is because 1, in The Martian, he ate potatoes and grew them, and 2, on Earth, it's a great time to get your potatoes ready. And so, I decided to travel 7 months to Mars. How's this gonna work? And so, I decided to send my twin to Mars. First, he travelled to go with it. And so, it was time to send Twin Lee to Mars. Going where no man had been before.
6, 5, we have ready to start. 2, 1.
In the search of one question. Was that question, is there life on Mars? No. We were sending one man to Mars to find out whether we can grow potatoes. And so Lee travelled 7 months across space and landed on the red planet. Hello Lee. This is ground control to Lee on Mars. Hello there. How are you all doing, everyone? I'm here in Mars on the space station. Elon Musk. How are you doing? What are you doing? It's not like the moon. Yeah, I know that. I just thought that I'd float around and be more effective. What? Yeah, okay. What are you up to? Tell us what you're up to on Mars. Okay, well, thank you. I'm here, everyone, on Mars. It's took me 7 months to get here. And just like my good friend Matt Damon, I am here and I'm going to be growing potatoes. And so I thought I would come on here and talk about potatoes, because not only is it a good time for me, as I have been stranded here on Mars, but not only is it a good time for me to grow potatoes up here on Mars, but also back on Earth, this is a great time to get potatoes started. Still floating. Now, in the 2015 film The Martian, Mark Watney, he grows potatoes here on Mars. Now, you can pretty much grow potatoes anywhere. They are the hardiest of vegetables to be able to grow. And here on Mars, we're dealing with -20 Celsius at night. And we are also dealing with a planet that died over 2 billion years ago. Now, it took me 7 months to get up here to Mars, and our days are around 25 hours long. And so we sort of had the same amount of time as you down there on Earth. And just like you down there on Earth, we are starting our potatoes with these. These are called seed potatoes. And seed potatoes are basically baby potatoes which you plant into the soil which then sprout out and grow many more potatoes around it. My only problem is that for a bag of this size, it costs about $20,000, that's £16,000, to send just this bag up into space. And so these are some very expensive potatoes. Now, these seed potatoes that I will be planting up this year here on Mars and down on Earth are called Maris Bard, and they are first early seed potatoes, which means you start to plant them at the start of the year. First early. Now, down there on Earth, this is what I do at around February time before I plant these up in March. So obviously first you need around $20,000, £16,000 to send the bag to me here on Mars. And in my suitcase I also brought along with me an egg box. That's right, because what else would you bring to Mars on a 7-month trip? It's empty. It's empty, okay? Then what I do down on Earth is I get my seed potatoes and basically put these onto the windowsill, and what will happen is you can see it just on this one here. It's just beginning to sprout. Can you see that? What you'll get is loads of little sprouts come out of your seed potatoes, and this will basically help your potatoes grow once they go into the soil. You pop these onto the windowsill or somewhere here on the space station. Let the light come down somewhere nice and cool. We don't want to heat them up too much. You don't want them to get too cold as well. Somewhere frost-free, nice and cool on the windowsill. Get some light and you'll get little sprouts pop out of the soil. And then mid-March, that is when you want to plant up your seed potatoes into soil, which I believe we'll be doing here on Extreme Gardening on this channel when I get back down to Earth. Now, my problem here on Mars is that the soil here is not great. It's very salty, and also it doesn't let the seed potatoes breathe. It suffocates the seed potatoes, so I could have some issues here on Mars with my potatoes. But you down there on Earth should have no problem at all. So get an egg box, go to your garden centre, get your seed potatoes, and then pop them on the windowsill. That's it from me here up on Mars. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks very much, Twin Lee. From here on Earth, it's a sunny old day, so I hope you're doing well. Are we going to bring him back or just leave him up? He's got potatoes, he'll be fine. Now, obviously, NASA and SpaceX haven't left this up to me or my twin on Mars right now to worry about it. But I'm guessing they must have the answer somewhere, because in 2024, they want to send actual people to Mars. Little do they know, I've already got my twin up there. That'll be a surprise. But what we do know down here on Earth is a great time to chit your potatoes. That's chit. So if you're thinking about growing potatoes here on Earth or on Mars, then get chitting your potatoes in February, ready to plant up in March.